Have you ever wondered why you react the way you do? Why certain situations trigger the same feelings over and over? Why some patterns seem impossible to break? If you've ever asked yourself these questions, you've already dipped your toe into the world of psychology. But here's the thing, most people think psychology is for therapists, for people with mental health conditions, or for academics in dusty libraries. And that's a shame, because psychology is actually one of the most practical, life-changing tools you can use for personal development. In this video, I'm going to show you what psychology really is, how your mind works, and 5 practical tools you can start using today. No degree required. I'm your host on this little trip, and this is Moments of Peace. Part 1. What psychology actually is. So, what is psychology? At its core, psychology is the study of the mind and behavior, but that definition feels distant, academic. Let me give you a better one. Psychology is the map of how you became who you are, and the compass for who you want to become. Psychology helps us understand why we react the way we do, where our patterns come from, how our past shapes our present, and, most importantly, how we can choose differently. The word itself comes from the Greek psyche, soul or mind, and logos, study of. It's the study of the soul, not in a spiritual sense, but in the sense of understanding what makes us human. And here's what makes psychology so powerful for personal development. It reveals that we're not stuck. The patterns you have, they were learned, and what's learned can be unlearned. What's unconscious can become conscious, and when it becomes conscious, you have a choice. Part 2. The conscious versus the unconscious. One of the most important insights from psychology is this. Most of what drives us happens outside our awareness. Think about it. You don't decide to feel anxious when a certain person calls. You don't consciously choose to get defensive when criticized. You don't wake up and decide to fall into the same argument pattern with your partner. These things happen automatically. They're driven by the unconscious mind, the part of your mind that stores past experiences, learned patterns, and deeply held beliefs. The conscious mind, the part you think of as you, is like the tip of an iceberg. The unconscious is everything below the waterline. And here's the key insight. You can't change what you can't see. Therapy, personal development, any kind of growth. It's about bringing what's unconscious into awareness, shining a light on the pattern so you can finally choose differently.
That's why psychology isn't just for people in crisis. It's for anyone who wants to stop being driven by invisible forces and start living intentionally.
Part 3. Tool 1. Let's get practical. Here are 5 tools from psychology you can use right now. Tool number 1. Name your patterns. The simplest, most powerful tool in psychology is also the most underused. Naming. When you notice a pattern, a feeling that keeps coming up, a reaction that feels automatic, a conflict that repeats, give it a name. Not a diagnosis, just a label. For example, there's that guilt again. Oh, this is the thing where I apologize for everything. Here's the drama triangle. I'm being pulled into savior mode. Why does this work? Because when you name something, you step out of being lost in it. You become an observer, and from observer position, you have a choice. Try it this week. Notice one recurring pattern. Give it a simple name. See what shifts. Part 4. Tool 2. The gap between stimulus and response. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, wrote this. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Most of us react automatically. Something happens, we feel something, we respond, all in a split second. But psychology teaches us that we can expand the gap. Here's how. When something triggers you, pause, take one breath, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Then ask, how do I want to respond? That pause, even a single breath, creates space. In that space, you reclaim your power to choose. It sounds simple. It's also revolutionary. Try it this week with one situation that normally hooks you. Part 5. Tool 3. Reframe your story. Cognitive psychology tells us that it's not events that disturb us, it's the meaning we make of them. The same event can be interpreted in completely different ways, and that interpretation shapes how we feel and what we do next. For example, they ignored my text. They don't care about me. Hurt, defensive. They ignored my text. They're probably busy. Neutral, patient. The event is the same. The story changes everything. This doesn't mean pretending things are fine when they're not. It means asking, is there another way to see this? When you catch yourself telling a story that leaves you feeling stuck, ask, what else might be true? That simple question can open up new possibilities. Part 6, Tool 4, Boundaries as Self-Definition. Psychology teaches us that boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about defining who you are. Every time you set a boundary, you're answering the question, what am I okay with? What am I not okay with? Without boundaries, you're at the mercy of everyone else's needs, expectations, and demands. With boundaries, you have a clear sense of self. Here's a simple formula for setting boundaries. I'm not okay with, what I need is, not lengthy explanations, not apologies, just clarity. I'm not okay with being interrupted. What I need is to finish my thought. I'm not okay with last-minute requests. What I need is 24 hours notice. Boundaries are uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not used to having them, but they're essential for any healthy relationship, and they're essential for knowing who you are. Part 7, Tool 5. Tool number 5, Self-Compassion as Strength. Here's something psychology has taught us. Self-criticism doesn't work. It feels like it should. We think if we're hard on ourselves, we'll improve. But research shows that self-criticism actually leads to avoidance, procrastination, lower motivation, more anxiety. What works? Self-compassion. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend who is struggling. It means acknowledging your pain without judging yourself for it. It means remembering that being imperfect is part of being human. When you mess up, and you will, instead of saying, what's wrong with me? Try, this is hard, I'm learning. What do I need right now? Self-compassion isn't weakness. It's the foundation of real resilience, because when you're kind to yourself, you're more willing to take risks, try again, and grow. Part 8, How to Apply Your Tools Daily. So you've got 5 tools. How do you actually use them? Here's a simple daily practice. Morning, set an intention. Today, I'll pause before reacting. During the day, when you notice a pattern, name it. Just notice. Evening, reflect. What did I learn about myself today? You don't need to use all 5 at once. Pick one. Try it for a week. See what shifts. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is awareness, because awareness creates choice, and choice creates change. Part 9, The Drama Doctor and Next Steps. If you're ready to go deeper, I've created a resource that puts these psychology tools into practice. The Drama Doctor is a practical guide to understanding your patterns, setting boundaries, and escaping the unconscious cycles that keep you stuck. It includes over 100 pages of psychology-based tools, over 20 boundary scripts for real situations, printable worksheets to track your patterns, a guided meditation to calm your nervous system. You can find it on Etsy, link in the description below. And if you're not already subscribed, please join us at Moments of Peace for more psychology insights, guided meditations, and healing practices. One moment of peace at a time. Thank you for being here. Until next time, take care of yourself. You deserve the peace you're seeking.